Get this book. It's awesome.
I'm Stefan Baumann. I want to welcome you to another video and another podcast. Today, I get the opportunity of answering the big question, the question that burns inside every artist, the question that people have that have been asking for 500 years. The question that I get to answer today is, what is art? It's amazing. I give a lot of conversations to a lot of art groups, and I start my art groups with that question, what is art? And I ask for a show of hands, and people tell me, oh, it's self-expression. It's about me communicating with myself and just being me and having freedom, the opportunity to be able to explore my inner depths. Yeah, that's a nice aspect of art, but art actually goes deeper, as you'll see in this video. And then what I actually do in this video is actually take some time out to explain why it is that I spend so much time coaching and doing these YouTube videos. And you'll get the secret of why I do this. So sit back, watch this video. You will be inspired. I guarantee it. And I will talk to you on the other side. A little bit about the workshop. It was amazing. For those of you that did attend, it was one of the most spectacular weekends that we've had up here. The weather was just perfect. It was so amazing that we even had a campfire chat and did a night painting there. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful workshop. You definitely want to circle the date. This is from somebody, and I don't have the person that wrote it, but it says, I have followed you regularly since I discovered you. You are definitely the source of my inspiration. I wanted your book as soon as you started talking about it, and when the advanced sale was open, I was the first one to purchase your book. I was so thrilled when I received it. It has been the best book I have ever invested in. I have read it several times and refer to it at least once a week. So I go to the book club as often as I can and also listen to the recordings. Thank you for your gift, Stefan. Her question is, so what is art? And why do you do all that you do to share? So why do I do this? And let's just deal with what is art, which is one of the most complicated things that we could talk about yet. It's still a thing. So when I go to art clubs, I start off the conversation with, so what is art? Why is it that we do what we do? As artists, there's a lot of knowledge and things, but we really don't get into what it is. And part of our discussion today on Patreon, these different artists, and you might not agree with the way that they paint. Matisse, was he actually, an artist, or did he actually do fancy wallpaper? Yeah, what's the value of that? And Van Gogh, sometimes I like Van Gogh, sometimes I don't. Rembrandt, it seems so old, and yet if we look at Keith Haring, is that really art? And then, I asked the group, I'd ask 100 artists, so what is art? And they go, well, it's self-expression. It's being able to like feel the paint, and it's therapy. It's this, it's that. I mean, it's a really complicated question, but there is actually a reason for it. And art basically is communication. It's about witnessing our life and sharing it with other people. We share something with people that we experience. Art, basically, we take it to the bigger picture. We have music, we have literature, we have poems, we have painting and photography and all this stuff. And what art is basically a way of communicating without words. So, for instance, I can sit up here and try to explain to you what love is. Now, all of us know what love should be. Some of us get to experience it. If we talk about mother's love, we know what that should be, but not everybody else has that. But even if people who don't have it, or never experience love, they kind of know what that would be. So that's how we communicate. But if we actually look at it, it's very complex and very complicated. So for hundreds of years, artists have tried to explain what love is in a different way. And so it's like through visually, how would you explain love without using hearts and chocolate? You know, you'd have to ask yourself. That'd be a really good question to ask yourself. How do I express love? And the thing is, it's like it's so ingrained with us. It's so we know what it is. And yet when we actually see it in a different form, we can recognize it, but it's really hard to express it. So it's our way of trying to show people or have people experience what it is that we see what or feel. It's hard to incorporate feelings and sight, although when we see something, we're embodied with all kinds of emotions and feelings. And with an art, we can actually try to express that. And so for me, if I see a gorgeous sunrise in the morning, it touches me so that I want to, share that with somebody. And if you're in that space of wanting to share something, you you create more powerfully. And work that's like that withstands the test of time. And we strive to get that. And if you can cause people to recall a memory, they will connect with that. So if I can create something that feels like love, with everything that I think love is, and somebody looks at the painting and goes, oh my God, I don't know what it is that I feel, but I'm embraced. I feel, loved. I feel loved. When we listen to the Moonlight Sonata, we think it's a beautiful piece. Why is it so incredibly? I mean, when we hear the Sonata, especially the opening, we almost compelled to stop. We almost feel like, oh wait, shh, shh. And you almost want to, it's just only like a minute long, but you're going to listen to that. It's like, what is that? What makes that such a great piece of music that we all know it and we all stop? Well, the Moonlight Sonata has nothing to do with the moon. It basically is Beethoven was his entire life wanting to be loved. Beethoven had a yearning to be loved his entire life, and he never really felt love. And when you don't have love, you feel absent of love, you feel sad, you feel, yeah. And he lived kind of a life with his hearing and things. He was always in this kind of mode of not being accepted, not being loved or taken seriously or something like that. And when we hear in the Moonlight Sonata, we actually hear a man longing for love. And it's because it's written out of that context that we feel what it is that he's trying to say. And when you actually fill in that gap, you can't listen to that song anymore without actually connecting with the message that he wanted to see. Sometimes you need a title, sometimes you need a thing. Like today, Jamie's painting of that pigeon. We go, oh, look, it's a painting of a pigeon. But then when you realize that 2 minutes later, that pigeon got ran over, it's like all of a sudden we go, wow, that's a shift in our way that we receive what it is that we're looking at. And as artists, we have that power. So somebody had mentioned something about Matisse. And the thing is, it's like Matisse, whatever you like it or not, that's personal taste. I'm not crazy about figures in magenta, but it does kind of look like figures dancing. It feels like movement. It feels like he's trying to do something that has never been done before. But in that process, there's a lot of crap that's being produced, pushed onto us like it should have meaning because I created it, so therefore it is. So a lot of times you get lost in the idea of, well, what is art? It's like, is it, putting paint all over your breasts and sliding across a canvas and say, therefore I created it, it must be? Or is it about longing or touching somebody? I don't know. I think there's a lot of make-believe in contemporary art. There's a lot of crap in old art too, because they didn't really understand what it is. So it's not even just our period of time. But if you really want to create art that has meaning, it should touch, move, and inspire people. It should make people go, wow, that added to my life. When we watch a movie, we walk out, we have a judgment of it, and we go, that affected me. I was entertained for a few minutes, that has value. I was, made me think for a bit, and I'm curious to see what the artist says. And, or you can completely moved. And you can get something to move if you're connected with it. If your viewer actually goes, yeah, I feel that too. And so if you look at Matisse and you actually say, well, he's just waltzing with his viewer, and it's very playful. It's not supposed to be serious. And he's trying to do something that hasn't been really done before. You can actually like look at it and go, okay, that kind of has value. It doesn't has value to me because I like Rembrandt, which is really stodgy and straight. And but the thing is, we use and this is why I teach it, is like we use lighting as a key to connect viewers. So the one thing that we all have around this world is our experience with light, and light plays an important part of how to trigger emotions and feelings. And that's why before we create art, we actually have to understand how light works. And when we understand that, we can start mastering our voices. And so when you look at it'll come to me in a sec, but where it's just a big canvas of red. But yet when you actually look at it and you look at it again, you actually see an artist trying to struggle. What is it about red that compels us to look at it? And that conversation, it has us kind of looking into the painting going, oh wow, it's layers and layers and layers of it. He's just trying to figure out what it is that we're trying to look at. If you look at Andy Warhol's trying to say, look, there's art all around us. We don't even pay attention. Look at these soup cans and look at how they're arranged. Just the fact that we choose to arrange these cans in such a way has a value to it. And art is like coming up with an idea and saying, "Here, do you get it?" I'm not quite sure if all of Andy Warhol's work really has value because I think a lot of it is showmanship. But there is interesting things that we can, come from it. And if we're looking at artists, we shouldn't just shun it and say, oh, it's just, abstract or it's just this. Well, sometimes it just is abstract. And unfortunately, I kind of named that as wallpaper. It's just, okay, well, I've seen wallpaper like that. It's like, yeah, you smeared paint around and you took a palette knife, you did this, but it's decorative. It matches people's couches. It fills up a space over a thing, but it doesn't move me. It doesn't change my idea. It's not communicating to me anything. When I go see an opera or something, or even like hip hop, it's like, they don't write, I go here and I go there and I do this. It's like they usually have a theme or a story or something that they're trying to tell you to, if you could actually hear the words, you can actually see that they're trying to say something. And when we're in that space, music, it's like, why is all the music about love? A lot of it is because they're trying to find emotion. So why is a lot of music about, the lost love, sadness? Why, every song is a sad song. It's like, because that's when we're at vulnerable with feelings and emotions, and we all feel that, and it hits us. When you think that you as an artist have that power to create something that touches, moves, and inspires people, you think, wow, I really shouldn't take this for granted. I really need to be able to find out what it is that I want to say so I could share it with people. When I was doing this is the answer to the second question. It's like, so, why do I do what I do? Well, I had my PBS television show, The Grand View. And in that process, I was like, oh man, when I stumbled upon that idea, I thought, it's like we were out in Yosemite and I was painting with some artists and they said, oh, Stefan, you should can this. And I thought, well, there's a guy on TV by the name of Bob Ross. Let me see if I could do something like that on PBS, except we'll go outdoors to the parks and paint outdoors in Yosemite or something. And so I thought, wow, that's a really great idea. So I spent 10 years trying to figure out how I was going to complete that mission. 10 years, you know, calling every artists around me would go, "How did you land that gig?" It's like, no, I created it. And we were the first people to actually create it. And, so there's a whole story on that. So I thought, okay, so when this hits, I'm going to be rich. I was singing "If I Were a Rich Man," da 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 da. And so the night that it was going to be aired, I was ready. I had my phone, I had my little Visa thing, and this is back when we were used to be attached to the wall. And I'm sitting there, I've got and it played. And I realized millions of people were watching this show Sunday night at 8 o'clock. It was on prime time. And I was like going, oh man, how am I going to handle the onslaught of phone calls once this is over with to get videotapes? It was all about me. I was going to be fabulous. I was going to be famous and rich. So it played, and I sat by the phone, and it never ringed. So I thought, oh well, there must have been a football game on. Something was happening, and I definitely, I didn't misread this. So the second week came, the phone rang. One phone call, second time. And this guy goes, "Hello, is the artist there?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm the artist. How can I help you? Let me get your Visa card. Okay, you're the first one to launch me off into my wealth." And he goes, "I don't want to buy a videotape." And I go, "Why are you calling me then?" And he goes, "I just want you to know." And I was like, "Okay." He said, "I want you to know that I used to do what you do." And I go, "You used to paint in the parks?" And he said, "Yeah, I used to paint outdoors." And he said, "I developed diabetes and they amputated my feet. And since then, I haven't been able to go out and paint again. I've just lost my will to paint. I just," and he goes, "And I was watching your program last week and it made me go and call my grandkids and say, go to the garage and get my art supplies. I want to paint again." And I sat there, just like I am here, completely spellbound and just like, wow, I was speechless. And he goes, you inspired me to go paint again. And I just wanted to thank you. I haven't painted in 10 years. And I got really quick that it wasn't about me making money. It wasn't about me being famous or, all this. It really was about inspiring people to do something. And the whole show was actually designed for people to go travel to the parks and paint outdoors. So if you haven't seen my PBS show, you can see it on YouTube. Just look up Stefan Baumann and put in PBS show. It's like that's what art is. It's about inspiring other people most of you are here with us because you were inspired by another artist. And it's a powerful gift that you get once in a lifetime to be able to inspire somebody else to either take a painting or go for a walk or enjoy things, listen to a piece of music, actually stop and feel something. Because in this day and age, we don't get a chance to feel much. We don't get a chance to make a difference in people's lives. We don't get a chance to change other people's worlds. But through one painting, you can do that. There are very few paintings in this world that do, but every one of you have the possibility. And if you go into your studios thinking about that, you might just change the world. So that's all I got to say. It's what art is. It's not about personal taste. It's about sharing your life with other people. So there you go. Now you know what is art. The question that all burns in us is, why do we do this? What is it? It's communication. We want to communicate as humans. We want to see things and share them. If you write a book and nobody's going to read it, oh, what's the sense in writing a book? And painting's the same way. Yeah, it's about you and the art and all that stuff, but you want to be able to communicate it and you want people to get it. And now you also know a little bit about what I do, and I'm passionate about this. I want all of you to become really great artists. I want you to find your voice. I want to address that 4-year-old child that you are at one point when somebody said, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And you said, "I want to be a doctor." And they go, "Fabulous. I want to be a lawyer." Fabulous. And then you said, "I want to be an artist." And they said, "No, step down off that cloud because art isn't a profession." You know, you got to find a reason to do this. And I found mine, my north. When you find your north, you're on your way. If you want to get more coaching, give me a call at 415-606-9074. If you wish to get a free book, you can do so on my website at stefanbaumann.com. And there a little window pops up, says, "Get my free journal." You'll have to download it yourself. It's 80 pages. You can leave it in your computer, but there's a lot of wonderful insights. And if you want to get my big book, How to Paint Outdoors. Now, this is just, it's an outdoor painting guide, but everything that's outdoors can be done indoors. So this is actually a go-to for a lot of studio artists on effects and putting together compositions and stuff. So don't be fooled by the title. It is a studio book. If you want to take a workshop, give me a call. I have them in Vegas. And if you want to jump in on one of my workshops coming up, give me a call at 415-606-9074. If you want to check out your podcasts, there are podcasts that are available. If you want to listen to your car, you can download those. So you get them wherever you get your podcast. But basically, I'm a great source. I've got Patreon. Now, I spend a lot of time trying to coach and teach people how to become really great and how to think like an artist. And all you have to do is do two things. First, move, pick up a brush, or give me a call or go to my website. And second, turn off your videos because you will never become a great artist if you're sitting there watching other people doing it. You're wasting your time. And you probably know all you need to know. You just need somebody to sort it all out for you and tell you, continue on doing what you're doing, but stop this. It's the beauty of having a coach. It's hard to do it by yourself. I'm available. So give me a call, and I look forward to talking with you next week. Until then, keep your brushes wet, the videos off, and enjoy being a passionate artist. Thanks for joining me. I'm Stefan Baumann, and I would love to introduce you to a new book that I just wrote on plein air painting. After 40 years, I finally sat down with one of the best authors that I could possibly imagine for this project and put together everything I know about painting outdoors. And this isn't just an outdoor painting book. No, these are techniques that you can bring into the studio, and they apply to watercolors, acrylics, gouache, and oil. You will be amazed at what you will learn with every turn of the page, every paragraph. We have worked through my videos, my information, my books, my blogs, and brought it all together. And over 2 years of editing, we brought it down to just the facts. This painting book has over 400 pages and almost 500 illustrations. If you see my videos and if you read my blog and you follow me on YouTube, you know that there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things you don't know that you don't know. I'm amazed at the quality of this book, the pages. It's a field guide. It's a book that you would take outdoors with you and paint on location. It's been organized so you could find your way through my keys. This book explains 40 years of teaching and knowledge one-on-one. All the information that I possibly know about painting is in this book. So run, don't walk, and order this book today.
Get this book. It's awesome.